Welcome to the Rocket Right Show, starring Hurricane Betsy Barnes and Dr. K. Solar. Two busy blondes with their fingers on the pulse of all things Louisiana. Events, health, leisure, entertainment, and more. It's the Rocket Right Show. And now, here's Betsy and Kay.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so excited that you can be with us here in the PartnersOne studio. And we are two busy blondes showing off everything in Louisiana. We can't help it. There's so much good. Even when we're having all the pandemic, there is so much good happening in Louisiana, and we want to share it.
We're just saying that you need to look that your cup is what? Not half empty.
That's
but
right.
It's almost full, right? And so we're so excited to have our featured business,
Yes.
Mr. Troy Moreau of Rocco's New Orleans Po' Boys and Cafe. Thank you for joining us and bringing treats to go with our wine.
Yeah, we let you in for free when you bring this kind of food, like
Hey,
anybody.
Free's good for us. We, any publicity is good publicity. So we love to be here. Thank you for having us. It's a pleasure to finally come on your show. And as you see, we brought some of the best po' boys in Baton
love
Rouge.
it. Yes.
We have our Rocco's roast beef, which is our best seller.
That is my favorite.
You can't beat that. I mean, look, the gravy falling off of it
That's
and everything.
right.
And then you got the overstuffed shrimp po' boy. And then you can't be from New Orleans and make a good New Orleans po' boy without making a good muffalata as well.
That's right.
So we brought our muffalata with our own Italian
And that
dressing,
is
seasoning and everything on it.
beautiful.
Well, we appreciate it.
Look to die for.
And they smell
I think
good,
that they're
too.
really going to go well with this wine. We're going to serve you up first
I am
here.
I am
so.
okay with drinking a little vino.
Okay, because I think all of it goes with Pinot. And
Here we
when
go.
I was shopping, I love businesses helping businesses, and so this one caught my attention. I don't know if it's any good, but you can tell us it has a pretty picture on the bottle, which I'm a girl that goes for pretty pictures on the bottles, but it said $1 goes to support our local families as far as the Louisiana Hospitality Foundation. So
That's awesome.
isn't that cool? Even though
is.
We
it's
wanna
from
support.
California. So
Well,
supporting
anytime they
local.
have a good-looking lady on the bottle, you got me
know.
right there. I'm
It's gotta
sold.
be good,
I don't
right?
care how good or bad the wine is. I'll take it just for the bottle.
And if you're
And it's-
helping people in Louisiana,
Absolutely. And we need help right now too.
We do.
We
No,
surely
sure
do.
Okay,
do.
well, let's talk about needing
Sure.
help. Now, you have been in business, how long has it been?
So we opened the restaurant when I was a student at LSU in 1995 at the North Gates LSU, right on Chime Street, right across from the Mr. Gatti's Pizza. We kind of established ourselves as like a little cult following. We were interested in bringing the New Orleans po' boy concept to Baton Rouge. We really didn't think at the time that they had something like we were about to start selling them. And I grew up in the restaurant industry. I cut my teeth back in New Orleans when I was a kid. My grandparents had little grocery stores, and we had the little mom and pop deli in the back. So, I mean, it came as second nature to me.
You'd made a few po' boys.
Oh, I'd made a couple in my time, and it's just a funny story because I was in the bar business and I met my wife, and I took her to the bar that I was involved in, and she's like, no, this isn't going to work. So I had to find another means to make some money because I was in school working my way towards my degree, and and that's how it started. And truthfully, we were so close in proximity to the LSU baseball facility at the time, the old Alec Box. We really made that cult following with the people that were going to the baseball games more so than any sport. And then the basketball crowd then the football crowd kind of took on. Then we outgrew the place. And it was like, okay, well, we need to get a bigger location, so we can serve more people.
Right.
And that's when the store in 2000 on Drusilla, which we are celebrating 25 years total this August that we've been in business.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you so much. And 20 years at the Drusilla location as of August 1st this year. So.
That is amazing.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
So, well, let's talk about the struggles with COVID, because it's definitely been a different year in all businesses, and particularly the restaurant business as well. So, what's happened from the time we got shut down and reopening, and what kind of changes have you made to being able to bring people this great food?
Well, you kind of actually have to reinvent the wheel. I mean, it really does. Your whole operation changed significantly, not because number one, you wasn't getting any kind of traffic from the people coming in. Although there was curbside service and what have you, that was not going to be enough to sustain our business. So we had to go after catering. So the first thing we started doing is going after catering, doing a bunch of catering for different organizations, different entities. We did some stuff for the 3 O'Clock Project here in Baton Rouge. We did some stuff for GOSEP. We did some stuff for the mayor's office. We did some stuff for nurses. So that was one thing that we really had to do to drive the revenue, because we just wasn't getting it in from people coming off the street because people were scared.
Right.
And I mean, I understand it. I mean, it was and it is what it is. I mean, it's real. It's out there, and you have to be cautious. And I can understand people not wanting to come in at some point in time.
And
How
people
did you get
only
the
order
word
so
out
much
then?
takeout,
Right,
so
that's right.
coming to the masses.
And how did you reach all of those people to
So-
be able, because you are a Partners
Right.
One member, and this
right.
is important. Networking is very important.
Absolutely.
How did you get the word out to be able to survive?
Well, first, just a shout out to Partners, because I never realized just how good an organization it would be until I joined it, and I was reluctant for years. Those guys chased me for several years. I finally joined, I want to say about 5 years ago, and it's been one of the best things I've ever done, because not only does it introduce you to other people in the business industry in general, but they also bring people with them and clients, so you establish new clients. So it's a win-win for everybody involved. Social media, everything you talk about now is social media. You got to jam social media, because really that's what people are looking at. Well, they're on their phone, most people
You're
5-6 hours a day.
That's right.
So if that's the case, then you really have to target that market to be able to drive the numbers. Also, we did some stuff like family packages for nighttime, takeout, where we would offer $40 for, a shrimp and catfish with side salad and, stuff like that. And then, the funny thing about it too is business in general, for restaurants have changed. Because you got to think about this. Like it used to be when we opened at 10:30, we would open that door and people would be funneling in.
Yeah.
So what's happening now is most people are working from at home. So because they're working from at home, they're sleeping later. Most of them
Right.
have kids at home now, so they're not getting out early. So we had to adjust our hours, because our business for lunch comes between 10 and 2 now, which is where the bulk of it comes. I mean, I left, and the reason why I came with the hat on, well, America, I wanted to wear a flag,
yes.
but
We love America.
I planned to wear a different shirt that made me look a little skinnier, because I heard the camera puts 30 pounds on you. Is that not true?
Oh,
Marty,
may-
did you say that?
maybe if you ate a
3
whole lot
cameras
of
says
those
30 pounds right there.
buffaloes,
So, and look, I'm gonna tell you right now. If you go into a restaurant and the owner's skinny, turn around and walk
I
out.
That's
agree.
right.
Okay,
No kidding.
because he don't know what he's doing and he don't know how to cook.
That's
but if
right.
you come in, you see a guy like me, that guy's eating right. So I'm gonna eat. So I'm gonna eat with him. So, but it just, the dynamics of everything is just so unique and different. But you know what? The one thing I can tell you about my partners in the restaurant industry in this town, we all bonded together. There were organizations that were formed. One of your guests that's coming on later, Stephen Hightower, was behind some of the driving forces with feeding the hospitals and stuff. That's what happened, and I was so proud to be a part of it. I was never more proud to be a restaurateur than when this happened, because we really banded together like a band of brothers and sisters, and we took care of each other. And that kind of really got us to where we are now. And so, are we seeing the numbers what they used to be? No, they're not, but they're riding up. I mean, they're coming back. We're going to beat this. And things are going to be just as good as they always were. But the one thing I would want your viewers to do is go out and support your local businesses. I don't care what
Absolutely.
business it is, whatever it
Absolutely.
is, go out and support them. Because if we need it now, we need it more than ever.
And if
for
you're going to
sure.
get a po' boy, ask if it's Louisiana seafood, because you have a right to know.
That's right. There are a lot of laws now, that they passed recently in the last 2 or 3 legislatures.
Right.
Everything that we sell in-house, any type of seafood, is Louisiana products. We don't sell anything that's from overseas or anything like that. And, a lot of people will go someplace and they'll say, well, Rocco, your pub is a little bit more, than when we paid down the street. Well, the guy down the street's not using Gulf seafood.
That's right.
He's using something from overseas, which isn't regulated, which is a huge problem,
Right.
because you don't know what
Which
you're
is a
getting.
health
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
right.
So, I mean, I would ask people just to go and take the taste test challenge, and
That's
if you
right.
go try their product, come try ours. If you don't think it's better, I'll buy it from you.
Oh,
I
that's a
like
good
that.
deal.
I mean, we've never had that happen, so
Yeah.
hopefully this doesn't backfire in my face. But
Well,
really, I mean,
But you know what?
truthfully.
Who could turn down a po' boy that you almost can't eat the whole thing? It is so full and so plentiful, and so that's your money's worth.
Well, I was looking at the menu, and I'm just saying, are Are some of these named after family members? And so I think we might be kin because I see you got a Tootie sandwich, you got a Burt sandwich.
We do.
I got those in my family too. Are we related?
All of them are names of friends of ours that we were friends with in college. Some of them we pulled from movies. But for the most part, they're named after iconic people or names or persons that we knew.
We'll know that we've made it when there's a Betsy and Kay po' boy on the menu.
I'll work on that for y'all.
All right.
See if I can make it happen.
I'm thinking like oyster and catfish together. It's got to be something seafood.
Yeah, I do love some oysters. If you could put my name on something.
Absolutely. We'd be happy to feed you anytime. 3358 Drusilla. You can follow us on social media. You can go to our Facebook page, Instagram page, Rocco's Po' Boys, 248-1999, www.roccosandpoboys.com. In order to make a great New Orleans style po' boy, you got to be from New Orleans.
That's right.
I love that.
That's
and
right.
You've got an amazing menu that's going to make your mouth water. But if people are looking for catering, you have added that full catering menu, which is amazing too, that you can pick up in trays and order 24 hours in advance.
You need to give us 24 hours advance notice for any catering. Go to the website, go to the catering page. We do individual meals, we do platters, we do
You're
everything.
even endorsed by Vice President Mike Pence.
We did. We had the opportunity to fit him 2 weeks ago when he came in town. He ate a roast beef with some etouffee. True story.
That?
When you want the best po' boy, you got to call the guy that's making the best po' boy in Baton Rouge.
That's right.
That's us.
That's right.
That's awesome. Well, I would say cheers to 25 years in business and more,
and 25 more.
For sure.
25 more for you.
And let's
Chinda.
celebrate.
We're gonna
Chinda. That means 100 years in Italian. Chinda.
All right. We love that.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. Rocco's New Orleans Po' Boy. Get you some. And we're going to be up next.
Back.
What all we got? We're going to be wearing our masks.
That's right.
And we're going to be talking about
safety and security.
Safety and security.
Bye, y'all.
Hey, y'all, I'm Amanda Shaw. We all know Louisiana is as fun as all get out. So get out, take a road trip, and explore our state. Fill her up, then try a new restaurant that's as fun-loving as it is food-loving. Grab the family and take off for monumental adventures at our 21 state parks. Or take a magical minivan tour along our 19 scenic trails and byways. Louisiana's a trip. Take one today.
This is Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. Plan your road trip at LouisianaStaycation.com. Hi, I'm Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. I've had my fair share of experiences with disasters, and I know Louisianans helping one another is as much a part of our culture as gumbo and Mardi Gras. When it comes to disasters, you can help your community most by getting trained as a volunteer to help with the disaster recovery. For more information about this, visit the websites below and be prepared.
Since the early 1800s, the Selassie family has played a significant role in the retail industry in Louisiana. Stuart Selassie has achieved the Certified Diamond Graduate designation from the prestigious Gemological Institute of America. What that means to you, whether it's appraisals, design, build, repair, or diamond sales, you have an expert you can count on. At Selassie's, you make all the right choices. Selassie Jewelry and Fine Gifts, in the heart of the Denham Springs Antique District. Find them on Facebook.
Clarence Bug Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bug Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
we're so glad that you could come back with us. You see, we're sporting gifts from Capital Area Law Enforcement. We're going to take them off, though, so you can actually hear us a little bit better. We are excited to have Pat Englade and Greg Phares, two former Baton Rouge City Police chiefs, and they have a new company. We're going to tell you about that, but first we want to thank our sponsors, Selassie Jewelry and Fine Gifts. These are some beautiful gifts that you might want to give your high school grad heading off to LSU or one of the other wonderful schools in our state. This is a hammered sterling silver cuff bracelet, and this is a Renee Selassie original design of Louisiana with a heart pendant. We are so thankful for what they've done to support our show, and you need to go visit them in the Antique District of Denham Springs, and also Advantage Health Solutions of Baton Rouge. Dr. Boyd Michael Helm is helping people get away from their dependency on opioids and heroin. So please give them a call. They're located near Our Lady of the Lake Hospital, and it's 769-6595. So we're really glad that y'all could come. I feel we are so safe. We've never been safer with these two
And that's
gentlemen.
just because y'all are here.
Okay.
I'm not just saying that, things in general seem to be safe, but
It's all about perception.
We are just
I
going to
agree.
hang out right next to y'all.
That's right. We feel very safe. And actually, Kay and I are looking forward to taking your conceal and carry permit course that you are now offering through your partnership with Louisiana Safety and Security Consulting Group. And so Pat and I have known each other for quite some time through Capital Area Law Enforcement. He's been on our show before, and we've enjoyed all the things that he's done to help keep our law enforcement officers safe by offering bulletproof, high-power rifle, bulletproof vest made by Angel Armor, and raising funds for the last 3 years, I think, to do that.
4 years now.
4 years now. And so many businesses have helped our officers protect their lives and protect themselves on duty. And so we appreciate everything that you've done through that. And you and Greg Phares have both had the honor of being the Baton Rouge police chiefs at different times and are now in partnership.
Right. Was it an honor?
It was a job.
It was a good job. I tell you what, you
It was
did a
an
great
honorable job. How about that?
It was
Put them all together.
It was really a labor of love, and both of you invested so much in our hometown, and we just thank you for everything that you did. We genuinely, truly appreciate what you and police officers and all law enforcement officers do that many times goes unappreciated because you're there and you're ready to jump in whenever people need help. And so we're grateful for you, and we thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
And then taking this career and partnership to the next level to help corporations and individuals like ourselves become a little more aware of how to protect yourself in a dangerous situation. So tell us a little bit about what you plan to do and how we can support what you're doing.
Well, you mentioned a moment ago the concealed carry course. That's sort of our gateway into this to try to introduce the other things that we do. I'm a Louisiana concealed carry instructor, have been for a number of years, and the fact is that although we as police officers and police executives are pretty good at catching people after the bad thing happens, there's not enough police officers to prevent a lot of crimes. I was thinking this afternoon as I was driving over to your studio, I was on the street for 19 years before I became chief, and I think I was a pretty good street cop. I caught 2 felonies in progress while I was on the street. That's not a very good average. Now, Pat and I used to also run a stakeout squad, and Pat was kind of the football coach. He did the chalk talk about where everybody was supposed to go. So we caught some there, but I'm just talking about where you're riding around trying to catch somebody.
Sure.
It just doesn't work all that well, just because there's a lot more criminals than there are cops, unfortunately. So the upshot of that is you need to learn to protect yourself. You need to learn to protect yourself within Louisiana law, legally. We're very fortunate, and Pat, I don't know if you even know this, he's coming back next time, John McClendon, who's a very well-known criminal defense attorney here in Baton Rouge, and has defended police officers who were involved in shootings. He does the legal part of it for us, and we're honored to have him again. So we're partnering with some very good people, and we think that Pat and I, having been through officer-involved shootings, citizen shootings, where a good citizen defended himself or herself against a criminal. We've been through that entire process from the time of the initial investigation all the way through the court process. And I think we probably bring to this course a little more than the average gun guy, because
I would think so.
We know the legalities of it. We've been through it.
Yeah. I think that people have a sense of confidence when they can protect themselves and they feel very adept at being able to handle either a weapon or handle something that's happening suddenly, but they've had the time to think through it where it's a little more second nature. I think the biggest thing we fear is fear itself. And I myself am always kind of looking over my shoulder. I have my head on a swivel just to make sure, no matter where I am. But if somebody were to attack me or they were to surprise me, I would feel a lot more confident knowing that I have the skill to defend myself. And especially, I think about when my son was small and I would be at the grocery store, maybe even a little after dark, putting my son in the car. I think women with children are especially vulnerable. And so I think it's important that not only for conceal and carry, but don't you think also to be able to just have some basic skills in being able to protect yourself?
You know, Betsy, one of the nicest notes I ever got in my life was back during the time that Pat certainly remembers with no fondness when Derek Todd Lee was doing what he was doing in our community. Pat was a police chief. I at that time retired and was working on a counterterrorism program for the U.S. State Department. But a lady I knew called me and asked if I would help her select a gun and then train her in it. So I did that, and we went to Baker Range, which is one of the ranges we use for Pat's and my course, and familiarized her with it, taught her on several occasions, and I got a note from her that said, "You've given me the greatest gift I could get, the knowledge to know I don't have to be a victim." And of course, Pat more than anybody remembers those days. I mean, Baton Rouge just was in terror of this guy. But yeah, you don't have to be a victim, and it's just so nice to have somebody say that you gave that to them.
Yes, I think that it would be. And I remember when all that happened with Derek Todd Lee, even though I didn't physically really fit the profile of the people that he seemed to be targeting, we were in our house when the sun went down. We got in the house just afraid. I mean, it really put terror through all of Baton Rouge, and I don't want to see us ever really go back to that again. And I think some of the things that have happened recently, some of the different shootings and things that have happened around Baton Rouge and other parts, you know, it's time to just be prepared for anything that could happen. And there are resources and people that you can call and get that kind of training and confidence.
And I think people are thinking about that with all the unrest and the violence that has been going on since the COVID and the different demonstrations and stuff and such. I think that that's in a lot of people's minds.
Yes, we've received a very favorable response from people. Because, and mostly ladies, to be honest with you, I think women, when they hear of a woman being raped or attacked, they can relate to that person and see themselves as a victim. So, I mean, it's probably 5 to 1 at least women wanting to sign up right now compared to men. And but it's, I think this is going to be good. Greg and I have been together. We've worked together for about, we're going to say our age here in a minute, but close to about 50 years we've been aggravating each other on and off. I actually was his chief of staff for 9.5 years when he was chief. So I spent about 12 years in the chief's office. I may be the longest running. I don't know how to get run off from that, but we think we've got something to offer. I think we put something out there that most people can't. One of the highlights during the day will be Tanya Garafola comes in. She's the wife of Brad Garafola, and she'll come in and explain kind of what it's like to be a victim's wife, you know, and that feeling and how she handled it. I think women will relate to her very well.
So how can people find out more about the course, when it's offered, and sign up if they're interested?
Well, we're just rolling out, and we're trying to keep up as fast as we can. We don't have our website up yet, unfortunately. That takes a little while. But I'm on Facebook. Everybody pretty much knows who I am on Facebook. All our numbers are, we will have those on Facebook where you can call and set up an appointment if you want. And I think you'll, you know, we'll be putting it out there in the public realm. Everybody will catch it sooner or later. But I think this is one. Greg does an outstanding job teaching this course. He's very good at what he does. And I think somebody will benefit tremendously from this. I've watched him do it, and I'm impressed. And I don't get impressed very easily.
But, you don't have to live in Baton Rouge to be a participant in the course. You can come with a group of girlfriends. Moms, bring your daughters, grandmothers. Come with your daughters and your granddaughters, and let's learn to protect ourselves.
Well, I asked Greg if he wanted to do a wine and gun event. He didn't think that
I don't think that, no, we're not starting that tonight, no.
Sounded like a good idea to me.
I would say we want to mix those.
Guns first, wine later.
That's right, absolutely.
That's right. Well, we thank y'all so much for coming, and we really look forward to seeing what you do, and you need to really look and see when their website is up. You'll have it on Pat Englade's Facebook page, Louisiana Safety and Security Consulting Group. There's a lot of things that you can offer, so if you own a business, you might want to give them a call as well. But Kay and I are going to be getting our conceal and carry permits because we do believe in the Second Amendment rights and all the other rights that we were given as Americans. So we thank y'all so much for coming. Thank you. And we'll be right back with Leah Larson.
Yeah, Dr. Leah Larson on dental health. And stay tuned to see what's happening with LSU football.
Right.
We're going to have some scoop for you at the end of the show, so don't go nowhere.
That's right.
Since the early 1800s, the Selassie family has played a significant role in the retail industry in Louisiana. Stuart Selassie has achieved the Certified Diamond Graduate designation from the prestigious Gemological Institute of America. What that means to you, whether it's appraisals, design, build, repair, or diamond sales, you have an expert you can count on. At Selassie's, you make all the right choices. Selassie Jewelry and Fine Gifts in the heart of the Denham Springs Antique District. Find them on Facebook.
I was diagnosed October 19th. I immediately started with a multitude of scans, and then I was having an 8-hour surgery. My biggest concern was my family and being able to see me come home every day and know everything is going to be okay. I felt comfortable that I was being treated by some of the best. There were some scary points along the way, but it's just kind of like been a little blip in the road.
Money, wellness, fun. Rocket Right Radio takes you all across Louisiana and the nation with guests who live life to the fullest.
I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
I'm Dr. Kay Solar.
You're going to love it.
Join us every week when we cover
Everything under the sun.
Live and learn with the Wright sisters.
Politics.
health,
Music and entertainment.
local agnet.
Rocket Right Radio. You're going to love it.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hey y'all, I'm Amanda Shaw. We all know Louisiana is as fun as all get out. So get out, take a road trip, and explore our state. Fill her up, then try a new restaurant that's as fun-loving as it is food-loving. Grab the family and take off for monumental adventures at our 21 state parks. Or take a magical minivan tour along our 19 scenic trails and byways. Louisiana's a trip. Take one today.
This is Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. Plan your road trip at LouisianaStaycation.com.
And you're back with the Rocket Right Show. I'm Dr. Kay Solar in the house with Hurricane Betsy Barnes. And our medical segment is brought to you each week by Mary Bird Perkins, Our Lady of the Lake Cancer Center. But we want to inform you about everything. And so we are so excited to have with us Dr. Leah Larson, who is a dentist in Baton Rouge. Join us today. Because, you know, we think about medical things hitting us during this COVID-19, and a lot of times people forget about their dental health. But before we go into that, tell folks a little bit about yourself and how long you've been here.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it, and I feel honored to talk about dentistry among this COVID pandemic. But I work over at Hightower Dental Concepts with Dr. Chris Fernandez, and we have a great, caring, compassionate team. And I'm originally from North Dakota, but I love Louisiana, and I love Baton Rouge, South Louisiana cuisine.
Even in the heat?
Oh yeah, I love the heat.
She loves the heat, and she can hang in the kitchen too.
Yeah. I can't cook though.
Well, welcome.
That's all
We're so
right.
glad that you could come and be on the show, but we're really glad that you're in Louisiana and that you have such great expertise in trying to keep us and our kids healthy.
Yes, and so with the COVID, there's a lot of changes that we've been even discussing recently, even with Troy, the owner of Rocco's. So the first thing that with most dental offices that is occurring, or a lot of other businesses, you'll see this reflected. You'll have an appointment, and normally you get screened prior to your appointment. So specifically, like at our office, our patients are they're communicated either through email, text, or a phone call. You visit our website, and when you visit our website, right there is our COVID questionnaire. And through the COVID questionnaire, the typical questions. Have you had a reduction in smell? Have you been experiencing a fever? Are you having problems breathing? And generally, saying if you've been around anybody with COVID, those basic survey questions. Right. And then obviously after you say no to all of that, hopefully, when you come to your appointment, you give us a call, and then we will go out and we're going to escort you in, take your temperature outside, and then you'll come in, and there's some more precautionary measures that we employ. So I like to think of the dental office kind of like a fortress. You're not allowed in unless you're welcomed in, or you have our permission. And so that's really, it's helping us provide a balance with providing the need of dentistry or dental health treatment, what have you, and keeping patients and the staff safe.
Yeah, and especially for the staff and y'all, you are right up there in someone's face.
It's so intimate with people.
You had to probably, we're always doing sterile techniques and things, but especially as the dentist, y'all probably had to enact even more precautions during the procedural parts, correct?
Yes. So with COVID, we know that it can be spread with droplets in the air. And dentistry is a lot of, it creates droplets in the air. So another precautionary measure that we do with our patients, they do a hydrogen peroxide rinse with we cut it with Listerine because hydrogen peroxide tastes terrible.
Yes.
And so that actually cuts down on a lot of that aerosol that we create. It really cuts down on that microorganisms that are naturally living in the mouth. Mm-hmm. Now, there are no current studies at this point in time that says that the hydrogen peroxide rinse does decrease any sort of viral load. But this is just one of those precautionary things.
It makes sense.
Yes, we want to cut that down. Patients are not allowed in the office without a mask. So,
but you're also protecting all the other patients that come after the patients. It's not just your staff.
No.
It's just creating an environment that is as clean and healthy as possible.
And we have hand sanitizer and this is at most offices. Anywhere where you touch, you're making sure that you have at least 70%, which is, I think it's ethyl alcohol, or it's anyway, that's what the CDC is recommending. And then obviously there's barriers. And so everyone is wearing a mask. We're all doing social distancing. Now, in terms of our specific protective gear that we have to wear now, we need to wear a KN95 mask or an equivalent. And
those were hard to get for a period of time.
Yes, and they're very expensive. And then we wear a mask on top of that. And then generally we like to wear a third mask to take off that mask per patient. Like I said, we do create an aerosol, so we want to protect our patients. Then we also wear eye gear, and we've worn eye gear even before this.
Because of the practice of dentistry and stuff.
Yes.
Is,
Now we've now added a shield on top of that, and then we do like to wear a surgical cap, and then we also wear a gown that we try to change through each patient. So as you can see, we're wearing quite a bit of gear to help make sure that our patients are safe, as well as the staff. We want a good environment for everyone.
And so many people are so far behind on their dental checkups because it was 6 months of really nothing, 5 months where you couldn't really go except for emergency procedures or a problem.
And so what are you seeing, because y'all were shut down, just like medical practices were shut down for routine visits. Are you seeing people trying to get back in because now they've probably missed their 6-month dental checkup? Are they trying to get back in and get that routine care? Are you still seeing a lot of emergencies? Because they did let things go.
Or you ate a pearl and an oyster, you can't help that. We're kind of seeing half and half. So a lot of our emergencies that weren't even able to come in at certain times because people were very, very scared. We had to learn about what this virus entails. So we do have some patients that have significant health histories that are waiting, and rightly so. If you don't feel comfortable, don't come in. But yes, it's interesting to see how even patients, even at their 6-month or beyond, they're trying to get in. And how, you talk about that COVID-15 last week.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of like COVID-15 happened in the mouth. Not necessarily gaining weight in the mouth, but neglect of, oh my gosh, I forgot to brush my teeth today. And it's just the stress.
I think because the stress and the anxiety.
Eating sugar and baking at home.
People neglected a lot of those things. If you ran a floss, so what, I'm not going to go to the store. A lot of those things. But I really want you to drive home how the health in your mouth really contributes to the rest of your health, which is really important as far as fighting off COVID-19.
Yes. So with that, a lot of people just think that the head is disconnected from the rest of the body. And so what normally happens is that we get one of our first teeth that comes in our mouth is our 6-year molar. So it's always the second tooth from the back on the upper or the lower. That's usually the first tooth to go if you don't plan on, trying to save it. And, there's always different circumstances, so you can't generally say, but once you start losing some of those back teeth, because it's like a domino effect, you actually have problems eating and chewing and grinding and shearing food. So those wonderful po' boys that were up here, you start having problems eating that great food. So normally what starts to happen, you have a predisposition towards very soft foods, very carbohydrate laden pastas. You're not typically eating like broccoli that's been overcooked. It doesn't taste very good.
Right. So you're not chowing down on salads.
I've never thought
lots
of that.
Lots of fiber in it.
The more dental problems you have, the more carb-laden foods you might be
it's
drawn to.
more unhealthy of options that you're going to choose. And then eventually what happens, you start getting hypertension, you start getting high cholesterol, and coronary artery disease. And then kind of like what you were saying at your last segment, they find that you have more inflammatory factors.
Absolutely, because once your gums get inflamed and you have inflammation there, it increases your risk for heart disease, for heart attacks, for diabetes and not controlling your diabetes. And all of those things we saw are risk of having bad complications due to COVID.
That's right. Those comorbidities are really the most dangerous part of what's happening in COVID.
So the first part of teeth, it's really for you nutrition. That's the basic function for your teeth. So if you try to keep your teeth so that you can eat a salad, because it's really hard to eat a salad with a couple of teeth. And that, like you said, there's a lot of nutrition in that. And and we take our teeth for granted, and you don't really know what you have until it's gone.
Right. And you're talking about how important they are, regardless of how pearly white they are. It's not cosmetic. It's for your health, for your nutrition, and to reduce your chance of, like I said, the inflammation that causes all other medical conditions are just linked to inflammation. So a
Yes.
healthy mouth, a healthy body.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, I like that.
Hey, am I the first one to say that? I bet you got signs up in your office that say that. So.
We're really glad that you shared that because I learned something. There was a couple of things there I didn't know, and I bet a lot of other people did too. So make sure you check out and get a little more information, send a question or two, and make sure that Dr. Leah Larson is on your speed dial.
That's right.
All right, give that website, and we got the phone number up there, and we will put it on our Facebook page as well at Rock It Right Radio. We're slow to convert. We're going to switch that soon to Rock It Right Show. But hang with us, because we want to find out about LSU football.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. I've had my fair share of experiences with disasters, and I know Louisianans helping one another is as much a part of our culture as gumbo and Mardi Gras. When it comes to disasters, you can help your community most by getting trained as a volunteer to help with the disaster recovery. For more information about this, visit the websites below and be prepared.
Since the early 1800s, the Selassie family has played a significant role in the retail industry in Louisiana. Stuart Selassie has achieved the Certified Diamond Graduate designation from the prestigious Gemological Institute of America. What that means to you, whether it's appraisals, design, build, repair, or diamond sales, you have an expert you can count on. At Selassie's, you make all the right choices. Selassie Jewelry and Fine Gifts in the heart of the Denham Springs Antique District. Find them on Facebook.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
I had a meeting with Dr. Barfield, and it kind of just hit me. It probably is cancer. After the surgery, I wasn't scared anymore. I was looking forward to getting started with chemo. Not one time did I get a nurse in a bad mood. I was here for 5 hours at a time, and I did not dread coming. To get people from around the country to come to Baton Rouge, that says a lot right there. This place is cutting edge.
Back to Rock It Right. We are so glad that you could join us because guess what? We're talking about LSU football. We're talking about SEC football. We're talking about NCAA football with somebody that knows a whole lot more about the rules than we do. And we're just hoping that we can go to the games and tailgate and just return back to our culture at some point. So we invited Charles Hanagriff of ESPN 104.5 and Hangin with Hester and Hanny to join us because there's a lot going on and he's got the inside scoop.
That's good because, it changes day to day and inquiring minds want to know.
That's right.
And that's us. We're inquiring minds. So, yeah,
Charles,
thanks for joining us.
Thank you for joining us.
Oh, great to be with you guys.
Great to be with you. And I tell you what, we really do enjoy from time to time watching your show on ESPN 104.5. And you have a long history and the coaches' cell numbers to know what's really going on with all the football. So we really just are sad to think that we might miss out on that. but it seems as though we've got at least a 50-50 of playing this year. What are you hearing on the inside scoop?
Well, what happened yesterday was very encouraging. You've got 5 conferences that are called Power 5 conferences. The SEC is one. The ACC is another one that decided that they were going to move forward with trying to play. 2 conferences, the Big Ten and the Pac-12, decided that they would not play this fall, that they would try to play in the spring. So that left one Power 5 conference with a decision to make, and that was the Big 12. This is the Texas schools along with Oklahoma. And they decided that they were going to play, or try to play at the end of September. So that gave enough support, I think, to move forward with the idea that a schedule could start in late September for those 3 Power 5 conferences, plus 3 smaller conferences, which includes the Sun Belt. And this is, some of our other Louisiana schools like UL Lafayette. So for now, it's cautious optimism. This doesn't mean that they're definitely going to play, but it means that, they didn't cancel, and on Sunday it looked like, well, they might cancel, and that hasn't happened. So that's where we are. The next big hurdle is the students returning to campus. And the reason that they moved the schedule back to the end of September, the start of the season, was they expect another wave. They expect when the students return to campus that there will be more positive cases. They feel like that, with a month to work at it, that they can get those numbers back where they need to be and they can start safely. So that's sort of where we are right now. Big Ten and Pac-12 out, SEC, ACC, and Big 12 in.
Well, we are excited that the answer's not no, and we're excited that there's no postponing at this point. Our numbers in Louisiana are plateauing, and I know there's a lot of students that are from out of state that are anxious to come here. They can still take online classes, but I'm just hoping that everyone now realizes we really do need to follow the mask mandate, social distancing, and I remember back in college, social distancing wasn't anything we ever even heard of. So I'm really hoping getting together was the thing. So I'm hoping that the students now, with all the new information based on where we are now in life, that they're going to do their best to not make this, the numbers increase.
Well, and I'm
social
sure
that wasn't something I heard of 6 months ago. So.
Me either.
Right. And I'm sure that once those players get back on campus, they are really going to be doing a lot to protect them, more than they would probably be doing if they were at home or someplace else, not having a season.
The players have actually been back on campus since the beginning of June, and you're right, they are doing an enormous amount to protect them. The LSU football facility instituted a rather large and strict list of protocols that they have been following all summer. And when they got back, and you're right also about them being able to protect them better than they could at home. For instance, when LSU came back, there were positive tests. It was about 20 when they came back and reported at the beginning of June. And that wasn't just players, that was the staff as well. And now they're down to just 2 or 3. And so these protocols, which is all of the things that we're hearing, with these strict protocols that they're doing at the professional level. We're talking about intensive temperature checks, lots of testing, a deep clean of the facility every single night, intermittent cleaning throughout the day, social distancing in their meetings, in their practices. For a long time, they didn't even let them pick up a football. They were that strict. So they're going to start what we call full practice on Monday, and they start with a pretty clean slate of negative tests. So you're right. That protocol list is what has put them in position to be able to go forward.
Right. If they were just coming back now, that wouldn't be the same situation. But since they've been there for a while, that's great. Now, what are we thinking about for fans if it goes on the end of September as presumed right now at this time? What can fans expect? I know that there's a lot of things floating around. What are you hearing on that?
I think that's a harder question to answer, and I think it's probably going to have a lot to do with what phase we're in. So then really it's up to the governor's office. If we're still in phase 2 at the end of September, then I would be surprised if there were any fans in Tiger Stadium. The Saints yesterday announced that for the season opener for New Orleans on September the 13th is not going to have any fans in the Superdome. So this is just 2 weeks past that. So I would be a little bit surprised if LSU was able to put fans in the stadium at the beginning. It might change by the end of the season, I don't know. But if we're still in phase 2, I have a hard time thinking that there will be any fans in the stadium.
It's very hard to go from being the #1 tailgating university to home gating at home. But I still think that people, if they're playing, they're going to be watching. People are going to be coming over, maybe in smaller numbers,
depending
hopefully.
on what the legal limit is.
Exactly,
on the
what the legal limit is. But if the numbers continue to look good, then I'm thinking the governor may let us go into phase 3 at the end of August. August 28th is where the end of this phase, the date that would be. And so we're going to know a little bit more between now and then. But I do think that people are still going to be cooking it up for some of their family and friends.
They're definitely going to watch. And if they do get to phase 3 now, I think that's a different story. I certainly don't expect at any point this season to see a full Tiger Stadium or even maybe a half-full Tiger Stadium. But I think if the state does move to phase 3, then I think you can start to see maybe fans back on a limited basis, masked and socially distanced in Tiger Stadium. One of the things that the NFL had talked about earlier in the summer was going to a 20% rule, about 20% of the capacity of the stadium. And some teams have stayed with that, but a lot of teams have gone to 0. So if the state got to phase 3 before LSU played, maybe you might see something like that.
Well, and hopefully we'll continue to improve and not go backwards, and those phases can move up. And the end of the season, the end of a 10-game season may not look anything like the beginning of the 10-game season.
That's right. And hospitalizations and the availability of ICU beds is going to have a lot to do with the way we look at going forward, or the way the governor looks at going forward into the other phases. 2 weeks ago, as he said in the press conference this week, 28 hospitals had no availability for ICU beds. This week, yesterday, it was only 15. So that is lowering the number of patients that are in the hospital in ICU and on ventilators. And that was the whole reason for this shutdown, was to not overwhelm hospitals. Right. So I think that students are more mindful of their health. Certainly the LSU football players are. And when Drew Brees said that he wasn't even going to lick his fingers anymore because he didn't want to throw the ball after he licked his fingers, I thought, wow, we're really going to extremes now. We don't want to mess up with his Lucky Charm and how he does, the way he throws. But I really do wonder, how is this going to impact, Charles, everybody knows that you've been involved with LSU Sports. You're part of the LSU Radio Network. How is this going to affect sideline coverage and interviews and things like that going forward? Do you have any idea?
I think that we know some things. I think that we understand that all of the interviews are going to be done virtually. All of the press conferences be done virtually. I suspect that there will be far fewer media allowed into the games. Typical LSU home game, they credential well over 100 media. I suspect those numbers would be down, but I do think that you would still have all the games on television, all the games on the radio. You would have the LSU network, the LSU Sports Radio Network would continue to cover the games. The SEC network would continue to cover the games. But you might not have, say, I don't know, as large a contingent of national media that would come to the games as you normally would.
Yeah. And so I think you're with the right group with the LSU Radio Network. I'm thinking you're going to be pretty top on that list to being able to cover that.
I do the post-game show, but to be honest with you, I can do my job not going to the game. So if that becomes necessary, then that's just how that fell. And we'll deal with that as it comes up.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think is going to happen as far as the way that we're still the national champions, LSU are still the national champions. Have any predictions or any thoughts on what they would do for any of the bowl games or any of the games at the end of the season? I guess we're just going to have to play it by ear.
Yeah, that's a lot harder to predict right now. Bowl games and the financial success is dependent upon ticket sales, and if you can't sell tickets, it's very, very difficult to be able to pull off a bowl game. The playoff, I think, would take precedence. I think they would try everything they could to make sure that the playoff was played, the top 2 games, but the rest of the bowl games, I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be very, very hard for them to pull those things off. Nobody has said that they're not going to do it yet, and we know also that we're going to have a lot less teams. All of those Big Ten teams. Remember when LSU played for the national championship last year, they played the winner of Clemson and Ohio State. Well, Ohio State's out of the Big Ten, and that's one of the conferences that has canceled football.
Yeah.
So even that scenario wouldn't be available to them. So you're at the very least going to see fewer bowls, and I wouldn't be surprised if you saw almost none. Very, very few.
Yeah, and it would be really crazy to have to wait till after those spring conference plays to have a bowl game when your conference has already wrapped.
Yeah, and I think that the schools are going to have a very hard time pulling that spring football off. There's any number of problems that come up with it. I think they're being optimistic. I think they're going to try, but I think it's going to be very, very difficult for the Big Ten and the Pac-12 to play football in the spring.
Well, Charles Hanagriff, we're so glad that you joined us. We appreciate you coming to talk about this. Tune in to Charles Hanagriff on ESPN 104.5 and other stations as well as online. We just appreciate you being here, hanging with Hester and Hanny. We got to hang with Hanny tonight.
Hey, that was awesome. And I like hanging with you every week, Bets.
That's right.
And thank y'all for tuning in to the Rocket Right show. We got a great show for you coming up the next week too, and make sure you check out our Facebook page with all the news at Rocket Right Radio. And if you're gonna rock it, make sure you rock it right. Woo!
Since the early 1800s, the Selassie family has played a significant role in the retail industry in Louisiana. Stuart Selassie has achieved the Certified Diamond Graduate designation from the prestigious Gemological Institute of America. What that means to you, whether it's appraisals, design, build, repair, or diamond sales, you have an expert you can count on. At Selassie's, you make all the right choices. Selassie Jewelry and Fine Gifts in the heart of the Denham Springs Antique District. Find them on Facebook.